Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So if you are preparing for a Power Apps interview, today's session is going to take you beyond the basics. So we will basically dive into the advanced integration techniques, governance strategy and the real world scenario that the basically interviewer often asks to test your technical knowledge and also the ability to apply the Power Apps in the enterprise environment. So here we will explore the how Power Apps connect with the systems like SQL, ERP or the external APIs and how are the organizations enforces the data loss prevention and the environment strategy and how these principles play out in the real world business cases. So by end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of how to answer the scenario based questions with the confidence and the depth. So stay tuned, grab your notes, and let's get started on the mastering the advanced side of the Power Apps interview questions. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the future updates. And I will love to hear from you whatever the toughest question of the Power Apps interview question you are finding. So don't forget to put that interview question in the comments and we will together crack it and solve it together. The first question is how does Power Apps integrate with the SharePoint? So basically Power Apps provide a native connector for the connection between the SharePoint list and library and it enables the seamless app creation. And you can customize the list form by using the Power Apps. You can also replace the default form that can make it mobile friendly and the interactive experience. Here integration supports two-way data flow. User can add, edit or view the records directly from the app. And the common scenario where we do this type of connection is leave request, asset tracking or the project management where the SharePoint act as a backend. In this, security is inherited from the SharePoint permissions and it ensures the compliance with the organization access rules. Next question is how does Power Apps integrate with the Microsoft Teams? So Power Apps can be embedded directly with the Teams as a tabs. It makes the apps accessible without leaving the collaboration space. It also integrates and support the contextual workflow like if HR request or the ticketing system within the team channel. The notification from the Power Apps can be routed through the Teams and here we need to use the Power Automate flow that keeps the user updated. Embedding apps in the team increase the adoption and the usability. So employees already spend the time here that can also be tracked. And here governance ensures the approved apps only get deployed in the teams and it maintains the security and the compliance. How do you connect Power Apps with the SQL Server? So to connecting with the SQL Server, we have to use a SQL connector and that is used to read and write data on the SQL database. There is a secure connection established by using the on-premise data gateway and it also ensures the compliance at the enterprise level. Developers can build the apps and interact with the stored procedures, view or the tables in the SQL. It also helpful at the enterprise grade level apps like inventory management or the financial reporting. It's basically role-based access that ensures that only authorized users can query or update the sensitive SQL data. What role does Dataverse play in the integration? So Dataverse acts as a centralized data repository for the Power Platform apps. It provides the standard tables, relationships, or the security model that simplify our integration with the Power Apps. In the apps, data can be shared across the multiple solutions without any duplicating the data storage. Dataverse also support the business rules, calculated fields, auditing, and it also enhances the governance. It is ideal for the enterprise scenario where the scalability and the compliance are critical. How can Power Apps integrate with the Power BI? So Power Apps can be embedded with the Power BI by enabling the users that can act on the insight. So for example, suppose you are creating a sales dashboard that can include the Power Apps, and here the customer records can be updated. This integration creates a closed loop. Power BI provides the analytics, Power Apps enables the actions. And embedding the apps basically improves the decision making speeds because users don't have to switch the tools. Security is consistent by using the Active Directory. How you will do the integration with the Power Automate that you have to describe. So Power Apps can trigger the flow in the Power Automate that handle the complex processes. For example, suppose you have a button in the Power Apps that need to use to send a mail. So on the click of the button event, you have to write that function that trigger the Power Automate flow. Here the apps will be lightweighted and the flow can be handled in the backend automation. This integration supports the multi-step workflow, approvals and the notification. So Power Apps and Power Automate together can deliver the end-to-end business solution. Can Power Apps be integrated with the external API? Yes. It can be integrated with the external API by using the custom connector, and in the custom connector you need to define the endpoints, authentications and the actions. In this, developer can consume the external services like payment gateway or the CRM system. Custom connectors also support the REST API, SOAP services and the OAuth authentication. So here the governance basically ensures the all the approved API can be only connected with that one. How do we handle authentication in the integration? So authentication is managed by using the Azure Active Directory AAD and the OAuth protocol. Here the all the users should have the role-based access that only authorized users can access the system, and conditional access policy can enforce the multi-factor authentication for the sensitive apps. Service accounts or the managed identity can be also used for the backend integrations. It also ensures that compliance with the enterprise security standards. What are the premium connectors in the Power Apps? So premium connectors basically provide the access at the enterprise grade system. And for example, the premium connectors are Salesforce, SAP, or the SQL. So for that, they require the additional licensing beyond the standard Power Apps subscriptions. Premium connectors enables the advanced integration that is critical for the large organizations, for the big organizations. So for the premium connectors, the example can be Oracle database or the external ERP system. So premium connectors can be only used if the business required that one. So as per the business need, we can utilize the premium connectors. How do you ensure secure integration with third-party services? So for third-party services, we need to establish a secure gateway for the on-premise connections. It also ensures the encryption in the transit and the rest of all data changes. DLP policy should be applied with the restrict connector combination. Role-based access control with the limited exposure should be applied, and definitely the audit integration should be compliance with the regulations. What is environment strategy in the Power Apps governance? So organizations should have the multiple environment, development environment, test environment, and the production environment. And whichever apps are going to deploy in the production, so before deployment, it should be well tested. And governance can should be defined in the each apps, means who can use that one. DLP policy should be applied at the various environment level, and that should be strict in the production. So basically the clear strategy can prevent the accidental data leak and ensure the life cycle control. How do you manage the DLP policy? So data prevention policies basically restrict the which connectors can be used together. For example, the blocking, combining the business connectors with the non-business connectors. DLP policies can be applied at the environment level, and admin can classify the connectors as business, non-business, or the block. So it ensures the compliance with the organizations and the regulatory standards. Please explain the role-based security in the Power Apps. So in the Power Apps, roles basically define the what user can see and what user can do in the apps. For example, in one of the Power Apps, the HR staff may have the edit rights, while the other employees can only the view rights. Security can be enforced via the Dataverse role-based access control, and role can be customized to match the organization hierarchy. It will ensure that sensitive data is protected while enabling the collaboration. How do you monitor the app usage and the performance? So that can be managed by using the Power Platform Admin Center, and that basically tracks the usage matrices. It monitors it checks the performance bottlenecks and what is the adoption rates. It also identifies the underutilized apps that can be further optimized and that can be retired with the time. It also sees the performance inside that helps the improve the user experience. What is the importance of audit logs? So audit logs is nothing but it is used for tracking the actions, changes, or the access. It provides a digital trail for the compliance and the troubleshooting. Log can also help to check if there is any unauthorized access or the suspicious activity happen. So it is basically helpful in the industry where the strict regulations are followed, like finance or the healthcare. Audit logs support the internal and external audit. How do you enforce governance in the citizen development? So there should be clear policy and defined templates for any app creation, and the training and guidelines should also be defined so that whoever is going to use that can be well trained. There should be approval workflow for the publishing apps, and IT team should act uh, as a guardrails, and there should not be any blockers. What licensing considerations affect governance? So licensing basically affect that which connectors or features are available. There are premium connectors that requires the additional licensing. Here the governance ensures that apps should be stay in the license boundary. It should not be use the unlicensed things. And there is a misuse of the license can lead to a compliance issue. So admin can monitor the whichever license costing is there and they can optimize that one. How do you manage the app lifecycle? So here the version control will be used to app updates and deploy the apps to the dev. environment, test environment, then prod environment. This cycle should be followed, and it should be tested thoroughly before any production release. And the outdated apps should be retired. The lifecycle management is the consistent to make the governance. What is the role of administrator in the governance? So, admin basically oversee the environment and policy. They see the DLP rules. They do the security settings. They monitors the what is the usage of the apps and the performance, and they also provide the support to the citizen developers. They also ensure the compliance as per the organizational standards. How do we handle the data redundancy and the compliance? So, should be stored in the compliant regions. It should adhere the regulations that are defined in the GDPR or the HIPAA. Dataverse can be used to manage the data redundancy. It applies the encryptions and the access control. So define a scenario where the Power Apps improve the business process. So suppose there is a manufacturing company that replaced the paper-based quality checks with the Power Apps. So it means earlier the paper-based quality check was done in the Power Apps. So here technician basically log the inspection result directly on the tables, and data will be stored into the SharePoint. Okay, and that can be visualized by using the Power BI. In this, alert can be triggered with the help of the Power Automate, so defects can be easily found. So reporting time basically will be reduced by 60%, and it will improve the compliance and the efficiency. How do you build an employee onboarding app? So for developing the employee onboarding app, we will use the data source to store the employee data. It will be integrated with the Outlook for scheduling the meetings and integrated with the Power Automate to send the onboarding task and the reminders. Power is basically provide the mobile friendly interface, so it will be streamline the onboarding and it will improve the employee and employer experience. Give the real world use case for the Power Apps in the healthcare. How we can utilize Power Apps in the healthcare domain. So Power Apps can be used to digitize the patient intake form. It replaces the paper-based process, and whatever data are entered into the app, that is securely saved into the Dataverse or the SharePoint. So basically, it will ensure the compliance with HIPAA and GDPR. Power Automate can be utilized here for the automatic notification to doctors or the nurses whenever any patient are checked in. Power BI dashboard can be utilized to visualize the patient flow. It helps the administrator to manage the resources effectively. So basically, it will reduce the waiting time, it will improve the accuracy of the patient record, and it will create a digital audit trail for the compliance perspective. How can Power Apps support field service teams? So field technicians can use the mobile Power Apps to log the service whenever they are in the field, and they can capture the photo, signature, and the GPS data that is utilized for the accurate reporting. Here we can make integration with the dynamic 365 field service that will allow the syncing of the work orders and the schedules. Offline capabilities can be also used here, where technicians can still record the data, and whenever internet is found, it will be synced with the database. So basically, it will improve the efficiency, it will reduce the paperwork, and it will enhance the customer satisfaction. Explain a scenario where governance prevented issues. So, a financial service company basically enforced a DLP policy to block the connectors like Gmail or the Twitter. Why? To prevent the sensitive financial data from being accidentally shared outside the organization. So here the admin monitor the app usage and flag the attempt if there is any unauthorized connectors are used. So governance basically ensures the compliance with the strict industry regulations like PCI DSS. So without this policy, the company risks data breaches and the regulatory fines. How to design a ticketing system in the Power Apps? So for the design the ticketing system in the Power Apps, we have to use the Dataverse tables that will store the tickers, status, and the user details. Power Automate can be used to send the notifications and if there is any escalation is required for the tickers. And this app can be integrated with the Microsoft Teams so that employee can easily access this one. Role-based security definitely defined in these apps so that support staff can be accordingly view, edit or close the tickers. Power BI dashboard will be required to do the insight into the ticket resolution times and the workloads. What's an example of integrating Power Apps with the ERP system? So to integrate that one, we need to use the custom connectors where the Power Apps can interact with the ERP system like SAP. Employee can request the inventory or the update purchase orders directly from a mobile app. Power Automate can be used to handle the backend communication with the ERP API and it will reduce the dependency on the complex ERP interfaces. It will make making processes the more user friendly. So in this application, the governance ensures that only authorized users can trigger the ERP updates protecting and the data integrity. How do you handle the scalability in the real world apps? So we need to use the Dataverse instead of SharePoint for large data set because it supports a million of records. Formulas and the queries should be optimized so that it will reduce the processing overhead. Delegation should be applied so that queries run on the server instead of client devices. App performance will be monitored by the administrator. So it will create the scalability planning ensures that apps remain responsible as the user base and the data grow. So describe a scenario where Power Apps worked with the AI builder. There is a retail company that is used the AI builder to scan the invoices that is uploaded into the Power App. And the AI model extract the key fields like invoice number, amount, and the vendor from the papers whichever has been scanned. And that data will be automatically stored into the Dataverse for the financial reporting. Power Automate can be used to trigger the alerts for the duplicate and the suspicious invoices. So by this way, we can reduce the manual data entry errors and improve data fraud detection. Last question is what is the common challenge in the real world Power Apps project? So these are challenges basically it balancing the citizen development with the IT governance is a frequent challenge. Business user want the flexibility while the IT will be required the compliance and the control. So without governance, apps may proliferate without standard and creating the risk. Solution is a clear policy, training, and collaboration between the IT and the business. It ensures the innovation continues while maintaining the security and the compliance. So thanks friend for watching this video. So if you enjoyed this video, so don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And I will appreciate each and every of the subscriber to watching this video. And definitely if you have any complex question that you are facing in the interview, so just put that in the comments and together we will crack that question and I will provide the answers for that one. So until next time, take care and goodbye. Thank you.